Okay, so let's talk about robots. They're joining our workplaces, and as they do, we are standing at a pretty major crossroads. The choices we make right now are going to decide if this new era of automation builds a more inclusive future of work or if it accidentally ends up leaving our most vulnerable colleagues behind.
So let's just get right to it. Imagine your next coworker is a robot. Is that good news or bad news? Well, you might be surprised to learn that the answer has less to do with the robot itself and literally everything to do with how we choose to build it and use it.
All right, let's dive into this. Because this isn't some distant sci-fi future we're talking about. I mean, robots are already here, working alongside us in factories, hospitals, and warehouses. This is the new reality.
Researchers actually have a name for this era. They call it Industry 5.0. It's all about this deep, growing integration of smart technologies like robotics and AI into the very fabric of how we work and live. And man, it's happening fast and it's changing everything.
Now, just to be super clear, when we say workplace robots, we're talking about actual physical machines. Think of those collaborative robots or cobots on an assembly line, or service robots you might see in a hotel. We're not talking about software or algorithms here, but real physical coworkers.
And the promise is huge, right? The benefits are pretty well known. Incredible gains in productivity, efficiency, flexibility, you name it. From manufacturing all the way to healthcare, robots are helping us do more, faster, and even safer than ever before. But that's only half the story.
See, because beneath all that promise of efficiency, there's a hidden social risk. And here's the crucial point. Technology is never neutral. It's designed by people. And because of that, it can absorb and even amplify the biases that already exist in our society. This brings us right to the heart of the issue, which the research puts perfectly. It says robots are not neutral actors. They can reinforce existing biases. Just think about that for a second. The very way a robot is designed, the way it's programmed, can unintentionally make our workplaces a lot less fair.
So who is most at risk here? Well, the research points specifically to employees from marginalized groups. We're talking about women, ethnic minorities, LGBTQ individuals, and people with disabilities. These are the colleagues who are most likely to feel the negative impacts if we get this robot integration wrong.
So, why them? Why are these groups more vulnerable? Well, it's really a combination of things. The AI that guides the robot can inherit our own social biases. The jobs that are most likely to be automated are often held by people in these groups. Plus, a robot's physical design can create brand new accessibility barriers. It's kind of a perfect storm where all these risks can just pile on top of each other.
And this is where the concept of intersectionality becomes so important. It's this idea that a person's overlapping identities, like, say, being a woman of color with a disability, can actually compound these risks, creating unique and intensified challenges that we have to understand and, more importantly, design for.
All this brings us to a critical fork in the road. Based on the choices we make today, two very, very different futures are possible. And which path we go down? Well, that's entirely up to us.
And this lays out our choice so clearly. On one side, you've got inclusive outcomes, sustainable, healthy work environments that actually enhance participation for everyone. And on the other side, exclusive outcomes, more marginalization, amplified inequality, new barriers. I mean, the stakes couldn't be higher. So, the million-dollar question is, how do we make sure we choose that inclusive path? The good news is, the research gives us a pretty clear roadmap. It points to two critical areas where we really need to focus our actions. So the first pillar is all about the technology itself, conscious robot design. This isn't just about writing code, it's about having foresight. It means designing for accessibility from day one, actively auditing our systems for bias instead of just assuming they're neutral, and embedding our ethical standards directly into the machine. The second pillar, then, focuses on the human side of the equation, because even the best designed robot in the world can fail if it's in the wrong environment. This means we need to build this whole ecosystem of support through inclusive HR policies, get buy-in from leaders who will champion equity, and train our teams to be aware of how technology and bias can interact. Taking these steps isn't just about making one company a better place to work. This is part of a much bigger, global mission to build a more sustainable and equitable future for absolutely everyone. In fact, when we work towards responsible robot integration, we're directly supporting the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, or SDGs as they're often called. Specifically, we're helping to advance SDG 8, which is all about promoting decent work and inclusive economic growth for every single person.
And we're also supporting SDG 12, which calls for responsible and sustainable practices in the way we innovate and develop new tech. You see, it's all connected.
So what does this all mean for you? Here are the key takeaways. If you're a manager, you should be assessing the equity impact of any new tech. If you're a designer, involve diverse users from the very beginning. If you're a policymaker, it's time to create rules that mandate fairness. And for everyone else, as employees, we can all raise awareness and advocate for these changes.
This really all boils down to one powerful idea from the research. Technological advancement, in itself, does not guarantee social progress. Just because we can build it doesn't automatically mean it's going to make things better. We have to actively steer innovation towards fairness and equity.
And that leaves us with one final, crucial question. It's not a technical question, it's a moral one. As we welcome these robots onto our teams, the real question we have to ask ourselves is this: who are we choosing to leave behind? The answer, well, that's up to all of us.